Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure, the Foot Elite Assassin by NECA. Now I've been loving these comic book style figures. I love the attention to detail and stuff. Though, like most NECA stuff, they do have a hard time with joints. Like sometimes I might have to heat the heads up to swap heads or the hands so weapons could fit into them. So we're going to see if we have any of those issues with this particular figure. So, without any further ado, roll that intro. All right, so here he is in packaging. Now you got your standard Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic book box art here. So you got Nickelodeon in the corner, NECA. You get this open window where you can see him and his accessories, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, his name, and some cool comic book art. I actually do like that. That looks pretty wicked. Come around to this side here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. A headshot of him, Nickelodeon, and NECA. Come around to the back here. You get a couple of cool poses of him that's supposed to be comic book style. Some of the other figures that are part of this wave. Now what's neat here is seeing him without a mask. I kind of like that. You very rarely get to see foot soldiers without a mask. So I'm really curious to see how they do it with this figure. All right, then you come around to this side. You get a full profile picture of him in comic book art, which doesn't look bad. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right, you got the top here. So you got Nickelodeon, your age restriction, choking hazards, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And underneath, you got the rest of your legal and SKU. So, that being said, let's open them up and see what he's about. Okay, so here he is out of packaging. Now, I did take his hat off just because of the fact that it does make it a little bit harder to move the head around. So, first is the points of articulation. So, like I said, the head does move. You got a shoulder joint with a swivel, a little bit tight, really, really tight. I don't like that. You got an elbow joint, and you do get a wrist joint. All right, get this arm up. You do have a joint here underneath the ribs. And that looks like all you get on the upper body. You get a thigh joint, a knee joint, and you do get an ankle joint. All right. And that seems to be all your points of articulation. Now let's get this hood piece back. So this is the hood. All right. And hat. I just want to pop that on there with him just because it's part of his whole look. All right. So with that on, he looks pretty cool. I like the overall look to that. All right. And you come to this side. But like I said, with that piece on, it makes it very difficult to move the head. So once you got that on there, you're not getting a whole lot of head movement out of it. I mean, you can move the head side to side without moving the mask. And you could get a little bit of movement, but not as much as I would want. All right. Then you come down to his body. You have the standard black lines, which gives it that cartoon look. Actually, I'm sorry, comic book look. Come around to the side here. Get your standard foot soldier look to him. All right, come around to the back. Now to this side. Now, I love the stud pattern that they have here. That looks really nice. Looks really in depth. So I like that a lot. So overall, he's not that bad of a looking figure. Okay, so now we're going to go through all his accessories. So first off, he comes with an alternate head. All right. So here you got the alternate head. Now, looking at this alternate head, you could definitely tell he's a bad guy because look at that mustache. That looks like the mustache of an evil villain. But, so he does have a mustache. All right. He has a couple different hands. So he has 2 open hands. So 1. All right. 2. All right. He also has 2 open hands, like almost like a karate chop style hand. 1 and 2. Okay. He has 2 holding hands. So you got 1 here and 2. Now he comes with a bunch of different weapons. So he comes with a couple of staffs here. Not much to them. So 1 batons. That's what they are. And 2. Next, he does come with a short sword. All right. After that, he comes with one of these sort of mini scythes. I forget what the hell they're called, but comes with that. He comes with a time bomb. Because you know, when old school martial arts don't work, blow them up. All right, so this is actually pretty neat. I do like the detail and all on it. All right. He also comes with this sword slash ball and chain. So there's a sword. Actually, you know what? And the ball and chain. Now, I love when they use real chain for stuff. I'm a real big fan of using real chain. It just makes it look better. It works a lot easier. And he does have a cloak. Now, this cloak does have a wire frame to it, which is really nice. I love when they use wire frames because it allows you to maneuver it around and stuff. So, let's see how all this works. So, first off, we're going to do the brave thing and we're going to swap these heads out. Oh, well, that came off pretty easily. Okay. Right then. And this one. Now, it's weird. All right, so let's look at this real quick while this is off. So, you look at that, it's just a peg. You look at the bottom, you can see the hole for it. Like most figures, it's a barbell design. So you have a ball in the neck and then a ball up in the head. Where this one, it almost looks like a straight peg. That's interesting. I mean, I would think that that would make it go on easier, theoretically. All right, so there you go. Get those feet down. So it did make it go down easier on the guy. Let's put his hat on. So there you go. So now you have him with his sinister mustache face. All right, so the head didn't swap out that bad, actually. So now we're going to do, let's put the cape on him. All right, get this cape, put the cape back on him. All right, well, I guess we'll just swap the heads back to where it was. All right, put that head back on and the helmet. All right, so now let's start swapping out some of these hands. All right, bend these arms in. All right, that came off pretty easily. All right. So it's a rare occasion that I actually have a NECA figure that don't need the hot water. So that works. So these 2 open hands work fine. Now you can bend one up and in a little bit. So you can have them holding this thing here. All right, so you can use the open hands to have them hold the explosive device. All right. Next on our list is the karate chop hands. All right, so you got 1. And 2. All right, so they fit in just as well. All right, there goes his hat. All right, pull these hands off. You got your weapon hands or your holding hands. All right. All right. Get that down. All right. Get the hat back on him. All right. Now, before we start getting into the weapons, as you can see, these work well. Let's look at this cape. So, like I said, it has a wire frame, so you can extend it out. You can actually make it like cloak around him. So, come around this way. So, if you want like that, the cape is coming in front of him. Look, you can. You can open up one side. So, I always love when they put a wire frame in a cape because it just gives you more poses and stuff to do with it, opposed to just a plain cloth cape that would just drop, or a plastic one that just sits in one position. So now let's look how these weapons work with him. All right, that fits in that hand. Where's the other one? Oh, here it is. All right. All right, so as you can see, those fit in his hands very well. No issues. All right. All right. So those work in his hands as well. No issues with any of that. Now comes the fun one, the ball and chain. All right. So somehow, some way, I'm going to have to open his hand up, which actually opened up pretty easily. All right. So got that on there. Let's see if we could get this ball and chain in here too. All right. Come on, man. Jesus Christ. Just get in there. There it goes. All right. So now if you want him to hold the ball and chain, that you could do that as well. So as you can see, that looks pretty wicked. I like that look with them. Okay, so let's get into my final thoughts with him. So first off, his joints are a little bit tight. Most of them move pretty well. I think it was up here in the arm that I was a little bit concerned how tight it was. But other than that, his joints move pretty well. If you do want to add a little bit of heat just to get the joints moving a little bit better, that could be a good recommendation for this figure. As for his accessories, everything swaps out pretty good. I have no issues with that. All his weapons fit well in his hands. Matter of fact, his hands were soft enough to where I could open up the fingers and get the accessories in there with no problems. So I do like that. And I find it interesting that the head has a peg instead of your standard barbell joint. So that's an interesting thing. And it seems like it did make it a little bit easier to swap the heads out. So I don't have any issues with that. So everything went on pretty good. And he's an overall decent looking figure. So the question is, would I recommend him? Absolutely. I do like this figure a lot. I think he's a really cool looking figure. I think he'd be a great member to add to your foot ranks. I like his weapons. I love how they use real chain on this chain weapon. I like the factor that they used wireframe in his cape. So that makes it a lot more posable and stuff. So overall, I like him. Other than a couple of stiff joints, I don't have any real issues with this figure. So yes, I would recommend him. So with that being said, the first thing I want to do is give a shout out to a couple people. So first is Byron Bassett and his alter ego, Humongous. He's a big supporter of the channel, and he does a lot of things to help out with the channel. So go ahead and check out his YouTube channel and his Sunday show. Also, I want to give a shout out to Action Figure Geeks. They're a Reddit channel that I'm part of that also supports this channel. And everybody who has watched this video all the way through. I really appreciate everybody who watches and subscribes. It means a lot to me. So also, I would ask that you check out my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles playlist and my membership program. Plus, hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks to you, but it really helps this channel grow. So, into the next one. late